What I find very offensive today is the movie set, because of the mobile phone and the smartphone. The moment the director says, starts on camera action, instead of everybody being cued in with the shot and with the breath of the actor, they go into their smartphones. If I went into the set, I would take a whip and whack people if they dare to do that when the actor is giving a shot. Ajay Devgan said yes to me for Zakhn while he was having a shower in Chennai. I feel that these times are not very congenial to creating superstar images. So the images, the stars of the 90s have still the kind of stranglehold over the consciousness of people.
Yeah, we as
They would go step back five
assistants would hide, especially if there were junior artists on the set. We're like, aaj to band bajne wali hai.
Raz was a phenomenal success in those times where only star-cast films were making it according to the trade pundits. And we made it with conviction, and he gave it, he rebirthed the genre and gave it the kind of status which it did not have.
I think that the actors, if you talk about Sanju, and actors of yore worked with instinct. When they heard a narration from a director, they would look into the eyes of the director and say yes or no. And that's how films were made.
Hi guys, this is Ankita. You're tuned to Bollywood Bubble, and today it's just not about bloody ishq, but I think this is going to be a bloody good interview because I have with us Mahesh Bhatt Saab, Vikram sir and Avika. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to you.
Thank you.
What's with you, Vikram, and the horror genre? I don't think anyone in the current time and space would have the nerve of it the way you do. What's it that sticks you about it always?
I think I take all my fears and I put it onto others by making horror films. And that's true because, you know, I'm someone who is very easily scared in films. Yeah, you don't believe that. But, you know, can you make a comedy without a sense of humor, or an emotional film without having some sense of emotion in you? So I can feel fear, palpable fear. And when it's somebody else's horror film, I'm petrified. So because I can feel fear, I peddle fear. I'm a fear peddler.
I like that, you're a fear peddler. Then what about you, sir? Since you, I would say, write the most heartwarming stories, be it from the slice of life to romance, but then you have to pen something like this, where there is the fear peddling going on.
Well, I submit to his vision. I did it way back in Raz, if you remember Raz.
Yes.
Was a
Most
phenomenal
favorite.
success in those times where only star-cast films were making it according to the trade pundits. And we made it with conviction, and he gave it, he rebirthed the genre and gave it the kind of status which it did not have. The great Ramsey brothers were doing that very successfully. But there's something he brought of his own. And that's what every generation does. A generation rediscovers an idiom which has been in the terrain for quite some time and gives it the breath of life. And so that's how they resurrect the idiom. And that's what he's done again with Bloody Age. I mean, he has taken the same space, but this time with what you call, what has been my USP of telling the story of the human heart, the horrors of the human heart when it's at war with itself, when it's living with the dread of the worst kind, whether the person who's sleeping next to you in your bed is a person actually the one that you believe he is, or there's somebody inside there which is something which is invisible. And how every step she takes into the safety of her home after losing her memory is like walking through a minefield. You do not know where she'll step and what will blow up. That, according to me, is more horrifying than just ghosts darting and hands coming and the ghosts emerging. And that's the external manifestation of the inner horror. But he does it with a kind of, he marries the two very well. But ultimately, you tell the story through her character of a woman who's in the most fragile condition. She has lost her memory. and how she plows through this very, very merciless terrain of her own home, where she doesn't know what's going on. It's a haunted place. And she does not know the husband, whether he is what he claims to be or there's something else inside him. And he seems a good man, an upright man, very brilliantly played by Bharat Puri, the great Amrish Puri's grandson. And when we have a surprise actress, will come Jennifer. She is out of the world. When I work with a director, I believe there's only one general in an army, and I submit to him, and I write according to him what is the space, and then I give it to him, and then it is his privilege to do what he wants with it. And then I come back and I suggest to him within the parameters of what he has shot, my view, because the edit is the last rewrite, and there he depends on my external vision. So we seem to be working well as of now. I am certain that Bloody Ishq will introduce a new layer into this idiom of horror, of how it should be told. It can be intimate, and it can be huge, and it can have all the chills that you look for.
Avika, I think our all introductions to you begins from the time of seeing you from Balika Vadhu to now. But as a performer, when you have to shed that the most popular character which has stayed with you, and you have done some great body of work down south as well, it's just that people are getting to see your work here of late in recent times. Is there any scare you also have that how much time will it take for people to actually see you as the actress back here in Bollywood?
I think they already do. I meet a lot of people who come up to me and say things like, you experiment and you do a good job at it. And that is something that I look forward to, because as an actor, I love the idea of taking up challenges. All my characters have been really difficult. Even Balika Vadhu, I am from Mumbai, born and brought up here, but I had to speak in an accent which is Rajasthani, and I was 10 years old. So I've always been somebody who's really like
Child
trying
prodigy.
with
Child
it.
prodigy.
Child prodigy.
So for me, I think I don't want to get rid of that image. I like the idea of people still calling me Anandi and telling me things like, "Aap hamare ghar ka member hai." This is a huge deal, and not every actor gets to hear that. So I want them to feel that I belong to them, and I think that is the connection I've built with them, which I don't want to get rid of at all.
Vikram, in a scenario where horror in today's time is also coming with a tinge of humor, we have films like Munja, we have films like Stree and the franchise. Here we have your horror, which still subscribes to the part where we have the chills, we have that old school romance and the music backing it. How do you see this new age navigation of horror?
You know, horror comedies are definitely a genre by themselves. But we've done something different in Bloody Ishq. What we have done is that we've added a thriller to Bloody Ishq. So it's as if Kasoor and Raz were made together.
I don't think we can get that. Okay.
Okay. Or Boss's film Murder and Raz were put together.
Wow.
So the idea here was that, just as Boss was saying, that it's just not about chills and thrills. It's about what next. As far as horror comedy is concerned, I think it's a different art form. And what we do is a kind of a older art form that has got mainly a human story. It's a human relationship story where the antagonist is supernatural. And so it's not even an out and out horror film.
Mahesh sir, I was happening to speak to Imran recently, Imran Hashmi, and off the record he was sharing that what the way you saw him when you started working with him, like to give him a lover boy image which was beyond a lover boy image, which technically became a cult of its own for him. And you have seen that through so many stars. be it Malika and all the people you have worked with. When you say today's generation, do you feel the same star power from the beginning? Because here everyone is claiming to be a star, but you have made a few of those careers.
I think those are different times. I must say that because of the digital age that man has stepped into, the digital meteor has struck the human race. And the world is changing in a blink of an eye. And, the landscape is soaked with so many images, and everybody is claiming for attention. So the exclusive attention that was available to the stars of the early 21st century has now been eroded by with the all-pervasive images tsunami,
Yes.
and so I would say that yes, but we did create some works which happened to launch great careers. But thanks to them, they themselves were talented people. There was something there, and we only created the environment, gave it the soil. But to say that we created them would be pompous and idiotic and deluding yourself. There are also so many people we tried to create which did not work. So if you knew it all, how the hell you failed with others? So while people are very generous and very forgiving, and they say, "Oh, what a glorious career you have had," they are very kind, forget the innumerable failures I've made. So I feel that these times are not very congenial to creating superstar images. So the images, the stars of the 90s have still the kind of stranglehold over the consciousness of people. Today, there may be somebody that comes up and grabs your consciousness, but then he evaporates in the heat of this kind of. I think the problem is of memory. People don't have memory now. Do you know what the yesterday's headlines was?
It's all about the social media. It's like
Yeah.
the first swipe of the.
Yeah. So I mean, everybody wants to be. This is the age of narcissism. Everybody wants to claim that space, and why not? That's what democratization of culture is. And as Tim Cook, when he came to his set at Mr. X, right?
Yeah.
And he picked up the iPhone and said, "This is all you need to make a film, distribute a film, and consume a film." And he looked greedily at the iPad and said, "Wow, to see in Mumbai, in Mehboob Studio, his gadgets that they birthed there in California, in Silicon Valley, were the heartbeat of the world now." So I think the world has changed, and it is changing faster than we storytellers can keep pace with it. And you people's lives are changing. Interpersonal relationships are changing. That's why our stories are not being able to tune into the complexities of the changes that are taking place. And the orthodox values are postures which are dropping, wearing off faster than than yesterday.
Yeah.
Today people have no time to hide. And the invasive media that is there. Even the world's most powerful man, his private life, Biden,
Is up.
is
No longer
up
private.
there for everybody to just watch, and how he makes a fool of himself, poor chap, because of his deteriorating health.
Health.
He confuses his wife to be some woman to be his wife.
and Zelensky to be Putin.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a very good one.
So I think we are living in bloody dangerous time.
Lastly, sir, I know we are pressed on time, but this is for all of you. I'll start with this anecdote. Correct me if I'm wrong. During Sadak, I remember Dutt साहब एक बारी एक इंटरव्यू में बोल रहे थे कि बकायदा ऐसे मार पड़ा के उन्होंने आपने उनसे काम करवाया था कि ये सीन तुम्हें सही से करना है. वो कुछ एक किस्सा सुना रहे थे कहीं पे, and it made me realize, because you being a director, you being on the director's seat, how you used to work with actors then to currently the state of the new age actors, where we hear so many complaints from off record. We always end up hearing not just the entourage cost to how the stars have suddenly changed the entire ecosystem. There is three different generations we are sitting here of actors to filmmakers. How do you see this new age system of stars?
Start with boss.
Well, I don't see any difference between his way of functioning today than my way of functioning yesterday. He is, of course, by nature a more patient person. He is not prone to these kind of outbursts that I was prone to. They would
we as
they would go step back 5
assistants would hide, especially if there were junior artists on the set. They're like, "Aaj to band bajne wali hai."
So yeah, so I mean, but I was very generous with my actors.
Yeah.
I was very protective. I love my actors. I have great respect for her. I have great respect for actors because it takes a lot. And I think what I find very offensive today is the movie set, because of the mobile phone and the smartphone. The moment the director says, starts on camera action, and for the duration of that shot, instead of everybody being cued in with the shot and with the breath of the actor, they go into their smartphones. And you think the actor doesn't sense it, the actor senses it. So the insensitivity of the workforce is unforgivable. If I went into the set, which I will go very soon with Shurita for his company, I would take a whip and whack people if they dare to do that when the actor is giving a shot. You dare not just be insensitive that the actor is turning his guts inside out, and they sense it. They are like animals. They sense it like babies. They sense that they're all alone there. It's the most scary thing. Try taking a picture. You can't even keep a smile going, and they have to hold a shot. So I think Vikram is very patient. But if I had to direct her, would I direct her differently? I would be very stark in asking her to pull out something from her. But I would be very gentle and very protective and very fatherly to bring out something from her. So I don't think anything is different.
Well, I just think what is different is something called agencies. Because whenever you approach an actor, they ask, "Can we read something?" And then you send them something to read. And I don't know who's reading, but whoever's reading is probably maybe a student of cinema or something. But at the rate at which they are reading, we should have a hit every week, and every actor should be, making some mind-blowing decisions. I think that the actors, if you're talking about Sanju, and actors of yore, worked with instinct. They worked with a heart. When they heard a narration from a director, they would look into the eyes of the director and say yes or no. And that's how films were made.
Yep. Ajay Devgan said yes to me for Zakhm while he was having a Shah in Chennai.
Yeah. So I think that was a difference. They connected on an emotional level. Now it is all about who's the lead, who's the studio, as if all these things are going to make a difference. But, that's how things are.
And you being the youngest in the lot, lastly, because we are closing it with you, how do you feel the changing ecosystem?
With the kind of experience I've had from TV to Telugu cinema and then here, I think it's the same, because a lot of the level of dedication that I saw in television in 2008, I still feel the same when I go on a set today. So the passion, the love for cinema, or the idea of making a film, that love still remains the same. The only difference that I see is the ways of doing some scenes, or as an actor, I feel that I have become more open to understanding. But when it comes to everything else, of how the star power, like he mentioned, is not the same anymore. And
Well,
yeah, we see that. I mean, with the social media and the digital platforms that we have, everything is just so easy for a lot of people. Within a day, you become a star and you're popular and you get the fame, but you don't realize that's just for a day. So, just to stay grounded and just to really believe in what you actually want to do, and just to not, get lost in all of this, and just to stay focused is what I try to do, and I will keep doing the same.
I'll close this by saying that we have national crushes now every Friday.
Yeah. Yeah. And,
That's all.
and I hope that bloody ishq crushes everyone.
blood, it's called blood sport. You know, they like savaging you. Can you imagine?
But that's a different form of entertainment.
That's a different power.
Mm.
Can you imagine the loneliness of those people who feel that they have to be vicious and hurt people to get joy?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, this is Vikram Bhatt.
Hello, this is Mahesh Bhatt.
Namaste, this is Avika, and you're watching us on Bollywood Bubble.